Hey guys, we are still in the hospital. We're going to start chapter 3 of Grandpa's journey. We're gonna ask him questions while he sits in the hospital. So, the first question is my first job.
My first job was at Ponderosa in Bloomington, and I lasted maybe a half hour because they put me back to the dishwasher, and I was no dishwasher man, so I walked out.
I'm not surprised you don't do dishes now.
And then after that, I went to where you go get material for sewing and stuff, cleaning up there. But first steady job was Delgado's Mexican restaurant. First Mexican restaurant.
Okay, well, let's stop that right there. So the job that shaped me the most in life and why?
Delgado's Mexican restaurant changed me. Ernie Delgado, the one who started Delgado's, had 3 daughters and no sons, and he treated me almost like a son, and always would ask me to keep an eye on the girls, and I would do so, and we would go places and stuff, and the girls, we would all get together, go swimming out at their place, and that stuff, and kind of gave me a little responsibility because he made me manager of the restaurant, and I went to go and get supplies in Chicago and come back. So, but
My longest held job was?
Longest held job was construction. Then I started working construction. My dad was the first Latino in the Labor Hall 362. Then I started being a laborer, and that's probably my longest job, and I was there until I retired.
All right. Advice to share about working.
The advice to share is work hard and work what you think you should work for. Save your money, and you never know when life is going to throw you a curve.
My first car.
My first car. Gosh, my first car was a Jeep CJ5. I had received that from my dad, and then I had like it's not a Ferrari, but it was I'll think of the name. Alcantara, that's what it was. And then after that, I got a big old 4-door Galaxy, and I remember my sister, when I was in school, I would go and skip class because we would have a movie in class, and the teacher would fall asleep, and we sneak out. But my sister wanted to to borrow my car that day, and when she came back to park it, she hit the car beside her. And they came got it because my car was listed as my car being there. And that's how they found me, skipping class.
The car that carries the most significant memories with it, and what those are.
When I got married, we bought a van, Nissan Maxima van, a white one. And when I got divorced, I kept the van, and I remember me and Lance going down the road, and he would stick his head out while I was speeding down the road, and surprised we never got caught or anything. And then I remember me and Mike Seal wrestling in the back downtown Bloomington. So those were the good memories of the vehicle and my van. And those guys would always tease me, how are you supposed to pick up somebody with a van, you know? So, but.
The family vacations I hold dearest.
The family vacation I love the most was when we used to go to the Gulf Shores and go to the beach there. And I remember one time, the last day we were there, one of my daughters, Mercedes, got stung by a jellyfish, and she was really hurting. And then we've done a lot of trips, Walt Disney. The kids were young, Walt Disney. And then we just, you know, traveled a lot. Then we went to England. Michelle's brother worked in England and lived in England, so we went to visit him. And I had to get back, and the girls stuck around and went on to London and all that. So they were blessed enough to go to London.
What about family vacations when you were little?
As we were really didn't have the money when we were little, so
But you guys went to Mexico?
The only vacation we did was we went to Mexico every year, twice a year. And I remember jumping in the back of the station wagon and sitting there. At that time, there was never any seat belts in the cars. But, and then another thing I remember was that after church on Sunday, we would always stop at Mr. Quick's and buy 10 for 10 cheeseburger, and we split it up between all of us, and the fries and the drinks. So.
The furthest place that you've traveled?
England.
Yeah.
England was the farthest place I traveled. We went to Ireland, but I do miss that. I wish we were able to go back again.
My favorite place to travel?
I guess the places that I've never been to, I would love to travel to. I love England. I love, you know, the historical things on, you know, me loving baseball a lot. I always wanted to go to Cooperstown and then go to Kansas City to the Negro League Museum there. All
right. Do you have any other thoughts or stories about work or traveling that you want to share?
With traveling, I enjoy traveling with Michelle and the girls, and we always would have a good time, and maybe sometimes she wouldn't think that way, but so I used to play ball a lot, so we used to travel softball. We'd go down to St. Louis and play in a tournament, and or we go to Six Flags in St. Louis, and we get the room over at the hotel right above St. Louis Six Flags thing. And we go there for the weekend or the week, and enjoy ourselves. But to this day, I do miss taking trips and stuff with the ones I love.